So let's look at the 3-year history of Jon Gruden's second stint with the Raiders and see if his actions say, I am a coach that wants to get rid of my starting quarterback. Let's look at his actions the last 3 years. All right. I spent my whole morning planning this out.
Uh-oh.
Jon Gruden has let go of every single player on the Raiders that he inherited except for Derek Carr, Nicholas Morrow, who got better and better and they couldn't get rid of him, Jalen Richard, who I think is going to be cut before the season starts.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be making more than Josh Jacobs, and we picked up Kenyon Drake. Like, I love you, Jalen, but I think he's gone. And then Carl Joseph, who was let go and then brought back.
Yeah.
So basically, I think when we suit up against the Baltimore Ravens in Monday Night Football to start Week 1, the only players on that 53-man active roster that Jon Gruden inherited will be Derek Carr and Nicholas Morrow. Yeah. So he let go of everybody else, but he kept those two guys, one of them being Derek Carr. Does that sound like a coach that wants to get rid of Derek Carr? No. What else
sir.
What else has Jon Gruden done since he's got here? He's traded away literally the best player on the team multiple seasons in a row. What did he do? Like before Khalil Mack, he even met him. He traded him away for a king's ransom. Amari Cooper, our best wide receiver, traded him away. Rodney Hudson, who was the best player on our team, traded him away.
He gone.
Gabe Jackson, the best guard on our team,
he gone.
Traded away. So he has no problem. Even when guys have a lot of value and he can get a lot for them, he trades them. But he didn't do it to Derek Carr. Derek Carr has a very, very easily tradable contract. Non-guaranteed money.
Sweet contract.
Oh, he has an awesome... dude, GMs would be drooling to have Derek Carr in their roster for what he costs, right? And yet, Jon Gruden keeps him. Okay. What else has Jon Gruden done? He signed expensive free agents to almost every single position. Because you're thinking to yourself, well, maybe Gruden just doesn't have the money. Maybe he just doesn't want to spend all that money on a quarterback when he has someone. He doesn't want him, but he doesn't want to spend all that money. Maybe that's what you're thinking. Oh, you think that's what it is? You think that's what it is? This is what Jon Gruden has spent crazy money at almost every position you can. Tackle with Trent Brown. Wide receiver, Antonio Brown, Terrell Williams.
Yeah.
Tight end, Jason Witten.
Yeah.
Running back, Kenyon Drake. Mm-hmm. D-end, Carl Nassib, Yannick Ngakoue. Mm-hmm. Linebacker, Corey Littleton, Nick Kwiatkowski. He has dug into that piggy bank over and over and over and over again for expensive players, usually overpaying.
Yeah.
Over market value for basically every player I mentioned. And Ngakoue was a pretty good deal considering how,
No, that's a pretty good deal.
That's a pretty fair deal.
Yeah.
Basically everybody else above market value for all those players. You know who he didn't pay a lot of money for or get on free agency and overpay for? A quarterback. Because he's got Derek Carr. And so you're saying, Jon Gruden's a guy who wants to develop through the draft. He wants to build his team through the draft. He wants to start from scratch. He doesn't want someone's leftovers. He doesn't want table scraps from another franchise. He's the quarterback whisperer, right? He did all those one-on-one shows with quarterbacks coming out of college. He did one with Derek Carr. That's what he wants. He wants to draft a quarterback. He hates Derek Carr, but he wants to draft a quarterback. You know the only position Jon Gruden hasn't drafted in the last 4 drafts as quarterback of the Raiders?
A quarterback?
Kicker and quarterback. He's literally drafted he's drafted a fucking punter, but he's never drafted a quarterback.
He did.
He drafted a punter. He hasn't drafted a quarterback in round 1, 2. I was even down I said before this draft. So I was like, hey, if they want to take a flyer on like a 5th round quarterback, right? Like develop a 3rd string guy, why not? Right. What else? How often do 5th or 6th rounders land? Just try that. Yeah, he hasn't even done that.
Yeah. But they have Nathan Peterman.
Speaking of Nathan Peterman, the only quarterbacks that Jon Gruden has signed, again, in the second stint with the Raiders,
Okay.
are a bunch of scrap heap duds. A.J. McCarron, he actually traded for.
That's awful.
Nathan Peterman, the joke of quarterback play in the NFL. Mike Glennon, it's like a giraffe.
Mike the Neck Glennon.
And then this one, the interesting one, and it's the one every single person who's listening to my voice has been screaming at the top of their lungs saying, what about Marcus Mariota? What about Marcus Mariota? What about Marcus Mariota? Oh, let's get to Marcus Mariota, shall we? He never started last season. Highest paid backup quarterback in football, never started once. He played 3 quarters when Carr pulled his groin in a game in the second to last game of the season. And then in the last game of the season, playoffs aren't possible, playing for nothing, no reason at all to put Derek Carr out there fresh off a groin injury and risk anything.
Mm-hmm.
You can add trade value to Mariota, right? Make him try to set up a game plan to make him look good, show him off, up his trade value. That's what we were saying in the game before.
Yeah.
Right? We were all saying, hey, start Mariota. Let Carr heal, start Mariota. Hopefully he kicks ass and you trade him for great value. Even then, Derek Carr didn't start Marcus Mariota. He'd rather send a hobbling Derek Carr out there to play in a game that doesn't matter than another quarterback. Oh, and then they got Mariota to take a giant pay cut for like 25% of his original deal for next season. So everybody is saying Gruden wants to get rid of Carr. Gruden wants to get rid of Carr. Gruden wants to get rid of Carr. Gruden couldn't possibly say with his actions more, I want to keep Derek Carr, if he constantly carried around a giant neon sign over his head that says Carr's #1 fan.